Okay, let's talk about the LCD. And the LCD stands for the lowest common denominator. And when we're talking about fractions, these bottom numbers down here are called the denominators, okay? And when you're adding and subtracting fractions, the denominators must be the same, and oftentimes they are not. So for example, if this was an addition of fraction problems, we can see we don't have the same denominator, so we would have to rewrite these denominators such that they have the same denominator, or they have denominators that are exactly in common. And what we want to do is find that lowest common denominator because there's infinitely many denominators that fractions could have in common, but we want to find that lowest common denominator. So one of the practical skills that you need to know in order to add and subtract fractions is how to find the LCD. So that's what we're going to focus on this particular video. So we're going to start with a fairly basic level problem like this. So we have 3 over 28 and 7 over 40. So the question is, how do you find the LCD? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to find the lowest common denominator. But go ahead and challenge yourself if you want to. Play around with this for 15, 20 seconds, or maybe even a minute. Whatever it takes, put your answer into the comment section. But even if you get the answer right, I want you to think about the procedure you're using, okay? Because how we find the LCD when it comes to arithmetic numbers is the same way we find the LCD in algebra when there's variable expressions, etc. So you really need to understand this whole kind of process. But I'm going to get to all of this in just one second. But first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TC Math Academy. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I've been teaching math for decades, and I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely do very well in math. And I'm especially talking to you to those of you out there that are struggling in math or might think, oh, I'm a bad math student. I just will never get this stuff. You can do well. But what you need is great math instruction, clear, understandable, and comprehensive. So if you're at the middle school, high school, or even college level, check out my math help program. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description of this video. It will definitely help you out. Also, if you're preparing for any sort of test with the math section, and there's a ton of them out there, and a lot of you are going to have to take a test like this. We're talking about the SAT, ACT, maybe the GED, ASVAB, teacher certification exam, any kind of placement test or entrance exam. I have a ton of test prep courses that can help you out. If you homeschool, I have excellent middle and high school mathematics courses for homeschoolers. Hopefully you have great math notes if you are in a math class, because this is a critical skill for you to be successful in math. So start improving your notes if you don't have great notes right now. But in the meantime, you can use my math notes. I'm going to leave links to those in the description of this video. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answer to this particular question, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I got that answer. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. Okay, so 3 and 28 and 7 over 40. These two fractions, the LCD is 280. That's the lowest common denominator. And if you got that right, I must give you a lovely little happy face, an A++, a 150%, and I'll give you a few stars so you can feel extra special today. Nice job. Now, what does this mean? Again, if this was like an addition problem, we would have to rewrite both of these fractions such that they have 280 down in the denominator. The respective denominators have 280, and then we would work on the numerator. Then we could actually find the sum of these two fractions. That's for an additional video. By the way, if you really need a lot more help with fractions or basic math or arithmetic, let me give you a quick suggestion. I have two courses in my math help program that you might want to check out. First is my Math Foundations course. It's a little mini course. It covers all basic mathematics, all the stuff you learn in elementary school, including fractions, positive, negative numbers, percent, all that kind of good stuff. My second course, if you need follow-on help with this stuff, would be like my Pre-Algebra course. So anyways, just a little bit of additional guidance on for those of you that are struggling with fractions. But now let's get into the LCD and how I got 280 as the actual LCD. Now, these numbers are fairly easy to deal with. I could have made this much more complex, but if you got 280 and you're at, I want you to, first of all, that's good, but I want you to think, how did you get this? Because if I made the numbers, or the denominators, much more challenging, let's say the question was 286 and this was 4,058. Okay, now, would could you get this right? Okay, it would take a lot of work. So again, it's not just, oh, I think I understand this. Really, really, truly make sure you have a handle on this, and I'm going to explain this right now. Okay, so the key to finding the LCD, and this is the same too for expressions in algebra, is the following. Okay, so these are our two denominators. What we need to be able to do is factor, okay? And not only just factor, all right, we need to find the prime factors, okay? So what is a factor? Well, a factor, let's say, of 8 is 4 times 2. These are factors of 8 because if I multiply 4 and 2 together, I find that product, I get back to 8. But 8 has other factors as well, 1 times 8, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're looking for are prime factors. So a good way to find prime factors is to build yourself a factor tree. So let's go ahead and focus in on 28, and we'll start this way. All right, so you ask yourself, 28 is what times something else? Now, I'm going to start off by 2 times 14. You could use different numbers here. You can go, oh, 7 times 4. Doesn't make a difference. You'll get to the same final answer. So I'm going to start off this way. So 28 is 2 times 14. Now, if I have a prime factor, in other words, one of these factors here is a prime number. So 2 is a prime number. I'm going to go ahead and circle it. Okay, so now I have 14. 14 is not prime, so I can continue to factor this number into 2 times 7. I'm like, okay, 2 is prime and 7 is prime. So 28 is equal to 2 times 2 times 7. These are the prime factors. You can't factor these numbers anymore. Of course, 1 is always there. 1 is always a prime factor. Now, one of the things you want to do is if I have 2 times 2 or any other repeating factors like this, write them as a power, and you're going to see why here in a second. So 2 times 2 is the same thing as 2 squared. So 28 we want to express as being equal to 2 squared times 7. Okay. All right, so that's our first step. Now let's go over here and prime factor 40. All right, so 40 is the same thing as 4 times 10. Again, you can have 2 times 20. You'll get to the same result. So I can factor 4 as 2 times 2. These are prime factors. And then 10 is 2 times 5. So I got all my prime factors here. So 40 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2, which I can say, I can write as 2 cubed times this prime factor right here, 5. Okay, so 40 again is 2 cubed times 5, and it's very important to write repeating the same factors that are coming up, like 2 and 2 and 2, or 3 and 3 and 3, doesn't make a difference. Write them as powers. Okay, so now we have our two numbers, 28 and 40, okay, and we're looking at all the prime factors. So now we need a little formula for the LCD. All right, so the LCD, the lowest common denominator, is going to be equal to each individual unique prime factor between both of our numbers. So all the prime factors we're dealing with are right here. Okay, so let's just take a look at that list. We have 2, okay, or 2 squared. 7 is another prime factor. And then we have a 2 cubed over here, and we have a 5. So the LCD is going to be the result of taking each one of these little prime factors and multiplying them together. Okay, so we need to have each prime factor represented. So let's go ahead and start with our first prime factor. So here I have 2 squared, and we could say, well, is 2, do I write a 2? Because this is kind of confusing. This is where a lot of people get confused. I'm like, okay, do I write a 2 or do I write a 2 squared, because I have a 2 cubed over here? Well, here's the deal. You could say I already answered the question, but let me explain this. So 2 is a unique prime factor. So the way you answer this is, what is the highest power of that prime factor. So really, we're looking at that factor of 2. Here I have 2 squared. Here I have 2 cubed. You always pick the highest power, so that's 2 cubed. Okay, so now we have our 2's represented as our prime factor. So what other unique prime factor do I have? I have 7, so I'll write that down. I need that. And then I have a 5 that has to be represented right there. So now I have 2 cubed, which is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2, or 8. So 8 times 7 times 5. If I do this nice little calculation here, you get 280. And there you go. That is the LCD. Now, it's important that you understand this process of factoring and have all these prime factors represented, because in algebra, you're going to have to use this same kind of algorithm, the same procedure. So if some of you out there are like, yeah, I kind of just knew that it was 280, that's pretty good. I mean, that's like a good start. I mean, you got the question right, okay? But again, if the numbers got more interesting like this, could you, find the LCD? Of course, with these two numbers, you would want to quickly break down these into their factors and build a factor tree and, go from there and do this procedure I just told you. So again, it's important to understand arithmetic, how to deal with fractions, because this all translates into what you're going to have to do in algebra. But again, if you understood this perfectly, well, you definitely deserve a lovely happy face for today. Nice job. And again, if you need additional help with basic math, 2 courses in my math help program that I would suggest, my Math Foundations course and Pre-Algebra. I also have a ton of YouTube videos on fractions and percent and all that kind of good stuff. But if this particular video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.